What we do here is go back.
Hey guys, we made it down here at Brewery West. It's a little early in the morning, but that's not going to stop us from sneaking in the back door. So let's go inside and talk about beer. Come on!
Big John.
All right, hey guys, here we are, Brewery West. For those of you who didn't know this, that's not how you spell brewery in America. Now, let's start off with who you are.
Okay. My name's Nick, and I work for Brewery West. I am the Orange County sales rep.
Awesome. So, because I've had your guys' beer, I've had people say, "Have you had Brewery West?" But I've never realized how did that all come about? What's your background for brewery?
So it's kind of a long story, but a fun one.
Everyone's sitting down, so we got time.
Okay, good. So one of our co-founders, Brian, he used to travel the world a lot, kind of like a vagabond, and the first time he ever had a beer that he truly enjoyed was in Belgium.
Cool. Wow.
So makes sense, right?
I definitely see a lot of nodding heads at home.
So when he came back to the States, he started working on home brews and trying to recreate those Belgian-style beers. And for some reason, there was something that was just missing. It just wasn't coming out right. So he went back to Belgium and was interviewing a bunch of the brewers to kind of find out, what am I missing? What's not working? And so what it came out to be was everybody in the States that were making Belgian-style ales at the time were using a Belgian rock candy. Whereas everybody in Belgium were using a Belgian rock candy syrup that they produced there in Belgium, and it wasn't being imported. So he said, well, heck.
Secret sauce.
Yeah, basically. So he's like, what he's going to do is he decided to start importing it and importing it to the US. So that's where he kind of got his start in beer. He basically did it so that way he could make his own homebrew taste good. But he sold to Stone for the Cali Balique series.
Oh, okay.
And then he sold for All the Blue Moons. So that's kind of where he made his money, if you will.
So cool.
All that being said, he was what he doesn't like the term gypsy brewing. He called himself a homeless brewer. Out in Northern California, so he would use other breweries' equipment to make some beer, and he would put it in kegs and sell it to local bars. Eventually, he got tired of doing both, so he sold the importing company and used that money to open up our actual spot here in San Pedro. So originally, he was looking at a place in Long Beach off 2nd Street, which is now an Olympics gym. But right before he signed the paperwork there, he got a call from San Pedro. Back note, he's from San Pedro. So. They told him about this place. This building was built for World War II. It was a naval shipping warehouse. They finished it right when the war ended, so it never got used. So it had been abandoned basically up until that point. They brought him in, they showed him the whole place. The windows were bashed in. There were a bunch of feral cats. Some homeless people were here. And he's like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. So the city kind of helped to renovate it, as long as certain signage you'll see is still original. Our bathroom's not built off the walls. Nothing can be built off the walls. So it kind of helped to do that. So it's a beautiful space. We have a lot of space. So it's kind of where the background comes from. So.
I have a feeling that as you said, this is a beautiful space. I can see us editing in. Beautiful space.
Perfect.
It really is great. There's so many good craft breweries. I love when a good craft brewery gets in an old space.
Yeah.
It kind of feels crafty,
right.
For lack of a better word. Let's have some beer.
All right.
Now you might notice, guys, we did kind of cheat a little. We were kind of, testing it for your safety. That's a thing.
Of course.
So just a refresh. This can, now you guys have probably seen this can at home, hopefully, and you're holding it and you cracked it open, you're already drinking some. This label, I've been told by my printing friends, is insane. Because what were you guys thinking?
So, yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
It is totally, in the best way, wild.
It's unique. You're not going to see a whole lot of that out there.
I don't think we're going to see another label like this in our Brewfest.
So the way true. So the way our packaging works essentially is all of our core beers are going to have those 4-inch stickers up front. So you're looking at Picnic Lightning, Dig My Earth, Dog Ate My Homework, and Pop Fuji. They're all the 4-inch round circle stickers right up
Yes.
front. Then all of our special releases, we're doing this kind of wild, intricate die-cut sticker where each sticker is an individual sticker, and it's usually in a shape. We did one that were butterflies. This one's all bunny rabbits, hence the name Bunny Fuku.
Yeah.
And then they overlap to create another image behind it. So it's kind of we want it to be more textile. We want someone to see that on the shelf, be wowed by it, reach out, grab it, feel it, touch it, rather than it just being a visual and a taste thing.
It's a hard thing to do to make a can interesting when you touch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. And okay, so now beer. What's inside this?
So
What are we drinking?
We did this one last year, and it had an overwhelming following. Everybody loved it. Great set of hops. It's what everybody loves to do. I mean, Nelson and Citra. Can't really go wrong with those.
Correct. I'm probably not the only hops that will, I'm sorry, I should say, not the only time we're going to run into this hops today.
Absolutely. And so we have a slightly different than your normal California brewery of how we brew. We use a mash filter. So instead of cracking the grain, we basically pulverize it and turn it into a flour. So that allows us to use raw ingredients. So we use raw spelt in most of our hazies that we do. So it adds a little bit of a sweetness to it.
This has got a nice sweet notes to it, for sure.
Yeah.
How'd you describe it earlier when we were definitely not pre-gaming?
The beer mimosa.
Yeah, the beer mimosa. It is a little, it's got a nice, lovely citrus notes to it. All right, so we've talked about how this place got started. Let's maybe out of work, but maybe how about when you're at work or when you're off work? What do you like to? What's your style? You got a favorite beer you go for?
I am a hophead all day. I love IPAs.
Hophead all day.
IPAs, West Coast and hazy. I'm kind of leaning more toward the West Coast now, just because hazy has been so regular. But I like IPAs. My job before this, I was a beer buyer, so I was on the other side. Basically, who I'm selling to now, that's what I did. So I ran basically the beer department of a certain store, and so tasting all those beers, going through everything, so I learned to appreciate a good one of every style. So I really like all beer in general. But in particular, Dig My Earth, our double IPA. It was my first intro to the brewery, to Brewery West, and it still to this day is my go-to, my bread and butter. So
that's awesome. I think all of our beer fans out here would probably say that they have like a beer that got them started either someplace or in craft beer.
Right.
It's my wife's fault. I'm going to have a little one-on-one with everybody at home. It's my wife's fault that I got into craft beer. I wasn't even a craft beer guy.
Wow.
One of our first dates she took me on. Craft brewery.
That's awesome.
It's all her fault. Now, what about something you guys have coming up? Anything you can maybe let the guys at home know about?
A little plug. So,
well,
one of the cool things that we do is we have a series called 8.5. It's not 8.5%. It's just called 8.5. It's named after a comedy movie from way back. Most of our beer names are named after something, a song or a piece of art or a movie or something like that. So there's some background to that. But 8.5 is a series that we do, a single hop series that we do once per quarter. So it's always, and we usually do some obscure hops. So like in the beginning of the year, we did one with Sabro hops.
That's obscure. I'm not sure I've ever heard of that one.
It's very, very unique, and it was a very coconut flavor to it, and so it was juicy and delicious. And so I really look forward to all of our 8.5 series because it's more, you enjoy the beer, but it's also educational at the same time. So you kind of learn the flavor profile of that one hop. So the next one is going to be awesome.
Who would have thought that we could learn today? Drinking beer and learning. I like it. Well, thank you so much for having us here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Brewery West, guys, swing by. Local craft beer. I'm sure you guys can come down here to San Pedro. I used to make treks out here all the time, and I think I'm going to start doing it again. We'll see you guys live in a minute or seconds, whatever it is. Bye.